Hello, footies, and welcome to Foot in Review. We are the number one independent FC24 podcast, bringing you 2 shows a week. We are available on all podcast platforms around the world, including now on Amazon Music, and of course, as a fully produced video show on YouTube and Spotify. And of course, if you can spare a few bucks and join our loyalty programs and get some free merchandise while at it, visit patreon.com/footinreview or footinreview.com and join our super close community and get that invite to our Discord server with that. Today's episode is brought to you by CarMoney, but more about them later. And on that note, let's shout out our Patreon Skybox owners. It's time to say a big thank you to Paul C, Amar L, Archum W, Mario A, Simon E, and of course, Peter M. Now let's get this show started.
Good morning, footies, and welcome along to your latest dose of EAFC Foot in Review. My name is Nathan. I'll be hosting you today. Our usual suspects, John and Dan, are unavailable. John's currently flying back from his wonderful trip to Scotland, and it's school holidays, so Dan is on daddy duties after his work. First things first, I'll apologise. I'm having an absolute nightmare with the sort of technology side of things, so I've got a headset on. I don't even know if my headset's working, to be honest, but we will plug away any apologies for any sort of disruption or drop in quality. And it's clear it's absolutely on me and nobody else. But that aside, I am delighted to welcome along a co-host that has been hiding for a little bit. We haven't seen him. It could be FC Rage. It could be that he's in hibernation with the winter coming up in chilly Scotland. But it is my absolute pleasure to introduce once again TalkingFUT John. John, how are you, sir?
I'm very good, Nate. Thanks for having me on. It's been, like you said, it's been a while. Still kicking around, as you know, Discord. I'm always there. But,
yeah, absolutely. No, I'm very active Discord. And from the Discord, we've, like we mentioned, John was over in Scotland for the weekend. But obviously, Scottish John, you were involved on both the Saturday and the Sunday. Do you just let the listeners know kind of what happened over the weekend with a few of the meetup?
Yeah, it was great. So John, obviously foot coach, and John came over to Scotland on Friday, stayed over with Chris, Grandpapa Mac, who you all know from the podcast. They came over on Saturday. We went to watch Nathan's team, Team Swiss, play in the Cup. Unfortunately, we lost in penalties. But yeah, it was a good day. Obviously, I had theatre in the evening, so I was away with my wife, but the guys went out for a bit of food in Perth. And then Saturday, Sunday, apologies, was the proper catch-up date. So there was Kirky for the Discord, myself, Caden, you, Nate, Grandpapa Mac, Ryan, our ex-pro. We all went to Edinburgh, played some absolutely fun pool. You were shocking, Nate, sorry. So we played pool, played shuffleboard, had many beers, grabbed some food, just had a bit of a chill out time. It was a really, really enjoyable weekend, catching up with some good friends.
Yeah, no, it was really good. It was nice to see everybody again, and there's quite a few from the Discord in Scotland, and it's weird that we don't really seem to see each other. And John, you're the next village over with me, and I think I've not really seen you since the last time. So it's crazy how life goes. But no, really good weekend. A few whiskies, a few beers that we had. So no, it was really good, and it's one of the benefits of the Discord is that you get to meet these people and do things that we wouldn't normally do. So great fun. It was good to see John coming over for that as well. Now, TalkingFUT John, we have had weekend league in qualifiers. Obviously, we've had a busy weekend. I've not played. I don't think you've played weekend league, but
no.
Talk us through your qualifier experience, because we were chatting about this a little bit. Obviously, it's early game and everything's sort of settling down. But what is your experience at the moment with the qualifiers?
I think it's historical, and if you've listened to previous pods that I've been on, I've probably said the same thing. My mentality is what lets me down. So if you go to something like Rivals and it's unlimited, I'll get my 8 wins relatively quite quickly. Don't really care. As soon as you put pressure and time restraints on me, I crumble. So at the moment, I am just 2-2. 2 wins, 2 losses, and I'm not pushing myself. I will play when I'm really confident or I feel in the zone, and if I don't feel in the zone, I won't. I'll just grind objectives and Rivals. So at the minute, I'm sitting 2-2, not been in weekend league yet.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to do it though. Especially there's no point in rushing through it, and I've not done any weekend league in FC24. I did my qualifiers and I started off 1-4-1, and then I kind of thought, well, I'm just going to experiment now. I use it because obviously I'm in Division 4, so I use it as a bit of a place to experiment as well, and took the pressure off a little bit. I think I finished 7-3 maybe, or 6-4. I can't remember, but I didn't kick on very much from the 4-1. But I tried different players, I tried different formations, I tried to see different things, and the way I know some people want that sort of, is it 10-0 you go for, and I know that's a really good achievement, but I kind of see it that I can experiment because I'll get packs anyway. If my experiment goes wrong, I might have been beaten by somebody that maybe needs a win, or needs that to qualify or whatever. So I quite enjoy that side of things. But you're right, the pressure is quite a lot because you kind of go, I need to win this because I need to get into weekend league. And I think the way you're doing it, having a little bit more of a laid back approach, going, I'm going to do it when I'm ready, rather than I'm going to horse through this and get my 4 wins, get my 6 wins, whatever your target is. I think that's puts a little extra pressure on yourself. And
yeah,
every week
I think it's what it has to be. I didn't do brilliant last year. Again, it was more getting qualified. Once I was in, I was fine. It was the getting in was the problem. Some weeks it's brilliant, some weeks it's not. I personally, I'm old school. I preferred a couple of FIFAs ago when you just got your 1250 points and you were automatically in. That was, for me, that was just fun because you got your points from playing your rivals. You automatically went into the champs/weekend league and you just went along. It was great. And just the qualifying bit is a bit like, I personally don't like it because for me, and not just me, there'll be people at a lower level. So say you're a Div 10, Div 9 player, Div 8 player, right? That's as good as you are, but you still like EA Sports/FIFA. That's a part of the game that is actually out with your play. You won't get to play that side of the game. So it's fine for EA at other times to say, you've enough points now to enter qualifying, but you'll still never see Weekend League or Champs. So there's a big chunk of the game is taken away from you, purely down to skill. And I know there is that whole thing about skill level, and Champs is meant to be the elite, but you are actually taking a chunk of your player base and saying, you can't play this game.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I mean, I can see both ways of it. I quite like the fact that the qualifiers give you some extra packs as well, and I really enjoy pack openings and watching pack openings. So from that side of things, I like that. But I totally see from the lower level players, trying to watch what I'm saying there, but from the lower level players, like I do totally see that.
And that's the problem. It's not a problem, sorry, but if you're listening to a podcast like we're doing now, or you're watching a YouTuber, or you're following a lot of streams, you're following generally or are involved at probably a decent level of FIFA, EA Sports. But that's what I'm just saying, it just means there is a player base that gets excluded from chunks of the game. But it is what it is. Got to live there.
Absolutely. I mean, and I'm sure you'll get there very soon as well. And for anybody else, we'll do a shameless plug that, FUT coaching, if you are struggling to get there, then, it's Dan says it all the time, and, a big advocate for it, not just because I get involved in the coaching, but definitely worth learning the game more than it is buying, 80 quid on points or whatever like that.
Which will get you nothing anyway.
Exactly. The pack weight's been, well, I say that, the pack weight's been horrific, but I'll not go into pack luck because I think that people will just start tuning off again. So.
Read the room, Nate. Read the room.
I know. I can't grumble this year, to be fair, but we have had quite a bit of content over the weekend, and since Ingvi and Dan and Shaq recorded on Friday. I'm not sure how much you've managed to keep up with it, John, but we'll start with the new WSL players. What do you think about the three sort of objective players? Have you seen them?
Yes, I have. I think, realistically, all these objective players, well, they may not make your first team, right? I think they're definitely worth doing because generally it's like play X games with 2 people. Dead easy to get in. It's chemistry. You can do it in squad battles if you want. Again, they're only 4.5 minutes, which is brilliant. And then you're just filling your club with potentially fodder for SBCs later, or / objective players for when there is another objective down the road. So I genuinely don't understand why anybody wouldn't be doing them.
Yeah. I've just been having a wee look because on paper I'm a bit like meh for the 3 that came out. So we've had Lena Hurtig this week for Arsenal, Maria Gomez from Brighton, and Jess Carter from Chelsea. So, Maria Gomez looks meh. To be honest, she's an 83 cm. Lena Hurtig, I thought on first glance, I was like, no, it's a winger, 85 pace, 85 shooting. decent passing and decent dribbling, but obviously finesse and Trivela play styles, they're no pluses, but nice play styles to have. But the more you look at her, like, especially for those now playing the 4-3-2-1, she's an excellent type for 4-3-2-1 as one of the sort of centre forwards, because good passing, good pace, but jumping 99, heading 99, like, I love that. I absolutely love that. And we cross the
yeah, 5'11", so decent, 99, jumping 99, as you said, but composure at 68.
Yeah.
Aggression at 55. Do you know what? I generally don't see anybody generally using them outside of, again, objectives, or you're a WSL fan or you're an Arsenal fan.
Absolutely.
But I'll absolutely do them. I'll put them in my club and I'll use them somewhere down the road.
Yeah, I mean, just to finish off Carter, though, she's a centre-back. She's actually got decent stats-ish.
And the problem is?
She is 5'5" for a centre-back.
Yeah,
I would like to see that challenge Erling Haaland for a header. Like, it's just, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's just a strange decision to bring if you want to work these players in, like, I get that, but 5'5" centre half just isn't.
I suppose, could you go a 5 at the back, Nate, and then move her in game to CDM? With that 91 passing. Great defensive awareness, great strength.
Mm-hmm.
Not very good vision, but maybe just a sort of win the ball, pass the ball on. But again, you're jiggling your team to try and. But that's an option, and that's what I would play if I had her. Realistically, you're not going to play centre back.
No, you've got to be committed to that, don't you? And we have also had one SBC who looks decent value, but let down by the lack of play styles. And I think that's something that Ingby touched on. I mean, they've got quick step, Trivela and rapid, but this Van de Sanden, mid winger, looks all right. 85 for, I know 18k is quite a lot, but if you're a Liverpool or WSL fan, like, there's worse players that they could have brought out than this, I think.
Yeah, again, I think it's a, shall we say, fun card. 5'6" makes it quite low centre of gravity, so I'm sure it'll play past the 90s pace, or it'll feel faster than that. But again, from a passing point of view, curve's not brilliant, composure's not brilliant, but there's not anything really wrong with it. It's just not anything that makes me want to go out and do it. But then, like I said, I'm not a Liverpool fan. So, but again, somebody to put your fodder, somebody to put your duplicates, especially with all these packs that are untradeable and all your rewards that are untradeable. Like I said, you'll have a little bit of fodder that'll go in there. You'll be doing the card basically for free. So somebody to put your cards.
Absolutely. Now, here's one that might divide people. It's actually really well looked at on FUTBin. It's upvoted really highly compared to downvotes. I was quite excited because I've said in the past I quite follow the leaks. Declan Rice has come as an 87 rated CDM, and obviously he's got his movements on to Arsenal. Unfortunately, he's played really, really well for them. I say unfortunately, obviously being a United fan. My team personally has been crying out for just a pure CDM, just somebody that's going to break the play up and then, pass it to Beckham that sits next to it. So I was quite excited to hear this leaked. John, what's your initial thoughts on this, guys?
I like it. I know there's been a few people on Twitter X, whatever you want to call it, that have been a bit, there's a couple of play styles that are missing. I think it's Jockey Plus people were looking for. I actually like it. Press proven. Kimmich, I think, has got it for my team, and it just seems to flash all the time. So I like it. It seems to work for me. But again, long ball pass, really good. Block, intercept, bruiser. I think it's very, very solid. And if you're in that price bracket and you're looking for a CM, the only other one with comparable stats, I would say, is Hero Marquez. So I don't think there's lots of other options out there.
No, absolutely. And it's like you say, it's very solid. It's not going to be in your team for the next 6 months. But it's solid. I mean, you put a shadow on him. His sprint speed's obviously a split higher than his acceleration, but you put a shadow on him, he's going to be a defensive unit. And it's the sort of player, I think, if you know how to use him, he'll be very good.
Yeah, and again, he's got that play style, regardless of your chemistry. It's mostly lengthy if he's got 3 chemistry. So, yeah, like you said, anchor, shadow, all these things, and he'll get that wee bit speed boost from the mostly lengthy. So, I think it's a solid all-round card.
Yeah, and 131k isn't the worst sort of value for it, because especially when we've had some fairly pricey ones that, I'm not going to delve too much into them because I know we've moaned in the past a little bit about it, but 130k could be better, could be worse. I don't think it's awful for this type of card, to be honest.
No, I think it'll be. Like I said, I like it. I think this is sort of card. If you did, you'll have some duplicate fodder. You probably won't be using 130,000 coins to do it, so you'll bring the price down. He'll be in your team, like you said, not forever, but you'll be in your team for a wee while, and potentially he'll stay in your team for future objectives where you need an English player or a Premier League player. I think you'll get a bit of use of him over the next couple of months for definite.
Absolutely. Just to finish off the content, the players drops, we've had the mini release last night. Dante from Nice, Kerry Mitoma from Brighton, we've had Jordan Henderson, who's obviously moved over to the Saudi League, and Gaia from Valencia. Have you looked at these? Is there any sort of standouts? Is there anyone you're thinking, what's the point in this player even being in packs? Like, what's your thought about the mini release?
I'll be absolutely honest, with being away yesterday and not getting back to quite late, it's not something I've really looked at. I did pack a Henderson though, from whatever pack, a preview pack. I packed Jordan Henderson from a preview pack last night. I thought, he's new. So I didn't know there was some new players, but I've not had a proper chance to look at them. Nate, what's your thoughts?
So Henderson and Dante, I think, stick out as being sort of fodder. Like Dante's 17,000. So they got 70 pace. It's quite low, even for that stage of the game, although he's usually actually quite fun to use. Henderson looks just a bit of a mech card. He's 12k. Yeah, nothing there that, like, he's got decent passing, but nothing there that I'm like, I need to go and get. However, I think that we'll start with Gaia, who's sitting at 60k just now. I think Gaia looks pretty solid, to be fair. He's not the fastest, but solid dribbling, solid pace, decent-ish passing. It's brought down by his free kick accuracy. I mean, again, he's not someone I'm going to go out and spend 60k on, but there's not a lot of options because you've got Mendy in that league that's obviously 100 k right now, and then you're talking heroes. So we don't seem to have wonderful left backs just now. So he looks okay.
Or right backs, to be honest, unless you're looking at like Sawaka, maybe a Cancelo, but yeah. Kaya's, I would say, just having a quick look there. 79 composure, possibly a small weak spot from him. Other than that, yeah, nice round card.
Yeah, and then Mitoma's sitting at 195k just now, which is fairly high in the market we're in. He looks pretty solid, to be fair, but his strength and aggression's down, so you sneeze on him, he's going to fall over, and then he's going to apologise for you sneezing on him. The rest of his stats are fairly decent, to be fair, lowish reactions, but if you packed him on tradable, you wouldn't be complaining for sure.
No, I don't think you would, and a lot of people did. Fatty as well, and I think if you've done it right, Fatty can play right wing, so you could have Mitomo on the left, Fatty on the right, you'll get those chemistry links. So yeah, I certainly wouldn't buy him, but if I packed him, I could look at trying to put him in my team, definitely. Yeah,
definitely. I think he'd be really fun. I think he'd feel really good on the ball as well. So that kind of wraps up the players we've had. But we've also had an interesting, shall we say, gamble pack. So 87 max hero pack. John, have you done it?
Of course I've done it. Everybody does these packs.
How did you get on with it? Was it an absolute worldie that you got?
No, but I wasn't too bad. It was Nakata. So yeah, so I've not got any Serie A players. Medium's probably a little bit, but yeah, he's valued at over 100k. So I think for me that was a good return for my fodder. Certainly gives me options if I'm looking to change my squad around shortly. And he's actually, apart from the medium, he's just a nice all-round looking card.
Absolutely, no, he does look good. I am very jealous. As we said earlier, my pack look has been decent this year. However, we were sitting in a taxi when this got released. I did it in the taxi from the Battle Bar off to the restaurant. And I have to apologise to Kirky because I launched my phone across the taxi and it hit him because I opened it and I got Peter Crouch, who isn't who you want to see. But saying that, I am a crosser, as I constantly say. He has acrobatic style, which is weird. So acrobatic playstyle plus, which is a strange one, but I'll give it a go. But he's also got power header and aerial. So I might go back to 4-4-2 and just launch the ball at Peter Crouch because I think that could be quite fun.
I think Crouch is a fun player. I think that is it. He's not the meta, but he's a fun player. If you can use him right, you could do some damage.
Yeah, so I'll give him a go. I'm not expecting world wonders or anything, but I've not got a lot of time to play, so I've kind of sold up most of my players to try and keep the coins. So could be, I was going to say it could be worse, but I don't actually think there probably is any worse players. However, we'll make it work.
Yeah, you've got. I mean, this is it. I mean, you can't complain about your pack work. So yeah,
Absolutely. No, I'll keep quiet there. So that kind of rounds out the content. But John, because we've not had you for a while on the show, one of the things I wanted to talk about today is the point of view of someone who's not aiming, or you're not desperate to get towards Div 2, Div 1, Elite even. Like, how are you finding the game? Like, how do you approach it? What's your thoughts? And a lot of the pods, we're fortunate we've got players in their Discord, or I do listen to some other podcasts, and they are all about we are getting as high up as quickly as we can, and we want to be elite type players. And it's interesting for people listening. People love the game, but they're not quite there at that sort of level. So just and obviously no disrespect to yourself, but you admit sometimes yourself that's you're Div 6 just now, is that?
Yeah, comfortably in Div 6, just plodding along.
Absolutely, and you've said about your approach to qualify. So just kind of how do you approach kind of rivals and the game in general now that you're not trying to max out as quick as you can up to the elite sort of tiers?
Probably, John will give me a round. I don't go into my games overly focused, if that makes sense, because I'm not aiming to get promoted. I'm aiming to get my 8 wins. So I probably play aggressive, reckless sport, EA Sports or FIFA. I think that's probably the best way to do it. And therefore, because I'm not pushing, like, historically, the best I ever got was D2. I think it was a couple of years ago. I was D3 last year. As I'm getting older, for those that don't know, I'm in my 50s. So I think I'm up at a reasonable level for my age and skill set. So the thought, though, when you're in those levels is, like Dan's referred to it before, skill-based matchmaking makes some of the objectives and some of that really quite challenging. So for me this year, I made that decision that if I win and go on a win streak, I won't throw it. I will go there. But because I play reckless, aggressive football and leave myself open at the back all the time, I do lose a lot of games. So I generally get my 8 rivals wins on a Thursday night or a Friday night. It's as simple as that. They're in the bank, and then I can spend the rest of the time doing objectives, some squad battles, because obviously, like I've said before, didn't play squad battles at all last year. But this year at 4-minute halves, I really don't mind. And it's because it's still early, there are objectives and rewards for doing squad battles. So that's how I'm looking at my game time now. And then when I'm ready, I'll dip in and out of qualifiers. So it's a nice, relaxed game for me because I'm not trying to go, I must get promoted, I must get to the next milestone. I just literally want to get my wins in, get them banked, and then have plenty of other time to do other stuff in FIFA. I still call it FIFA.
Yeah, it's so hard to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how do you deal? So obviously, like, we chat on the Discord and whatnot. When things aren't going your way, say you go on a 4-game losing streak, or like, how do you cope when you've played a game of FC24, FIFA, whatever we call it, but like that you've made a mistake or you're playing in a certain way and then you get caught? Do you have get a little bit angry? Do you just go, it's what it is? Like, how do you kind of deal with that?
This show is sponsored by CarMoney, the car finance ninjas, fighting to make cars affordable and accessible for everyone, no matter your financial situation. Nikki, the car finance ninja here, compares the top car finance lenders in both the UK and Australia to get you the best possible price so you don't have to, and they can get you approved fast. All you need to do is choose your new car and drive away happy. Get in touch with one of their friendly ninjas and start your car finance journey today.
I do sometimes, because even though I know I play reckless EA Sports, and I it's all about keep that back line, keep that there's 4 in the line, but I do still chase with my centre back, I do still chase with my full back, even though I know not to. Most of the defeats, therefore, I literally know it is my fault. But sometimes you look at the stats and you'll go, right, XG was 5 for me and 1 for them, and I lost 2-1 or I lost 2-0, and you're like, oh, what the hell? It's not the game, it's me. But yeah, so if I go on a large losing streak, yes, I get sort of, this game's rubbish, my team's rubbish. But realistically, once I calm down, it's not the game, it's me. So as we've got past the first couple of weeks, because early access, holiday to New Zealand, etc., yeah, I've churned in the games, and now I'm just at the stage of, actually, I'll jump on. I know I'll lose 3 or 4 games on the trot. I don't get upset at that. If I lose 10 on the trot, I get a bit more upset because I think I'm better than that. So I think there's that whole aspect now that I've made the decision. I'm not super focused on getting promotion. If promotion comes, it'll come. If it doesn't come, it doesn't really matter. And as long as I get my 8 wins for rivals, that's all I'm looking for. And because I speed, or maybe 5 or 6 games on the bounce, and you might win 2, lose 3, lose 4, whatever. I think I'm already at 84 games out of the 90 for the cycle. So it's win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, absolutely no doubt that sooner or later you're going to make it into champs. Are you the sort of person that when you do get there, will you say, right, I want to get 6 wins, I want to get 9 wins, I want to, I'm actually going to batter people in submission, get 14 wins. Like, how are you going to, or how do you?
No, because when I do go into champs, I know that because like last year the best was D3 and the year before was D2, and that there is that block of it. You have to have points and you have to qualify, right? So from that point of view, I realistically know when I go into something like champs, the odds are most people I will play will be to a potentially better level than me. Therefore, yeah, there's a wee bit of, if I didn't get 6, there's something wrong. If I can get 9, great, because that's probably where I would normally sit. I've not had 11 wins for a few FIFAs. I used to get 11 wins, but again, I play sloppy EA Sports. You've seen my footage, Nathan. Do you know? So I'm trying to be much more relaxed now about the whole game experience. I'm older, don't have great reactions. The more skill moves, the more play styles, the more things, the more buttons you've got to press, I can't do it. I don't have time finishing because it's something I have to think about. I know John gets me out for that. I don't use the new passing, the square and the dot. I don't use any of that because it's more buttons to press. It takes me, I'm old school, I'm sensible soccer. It's 4 buttons. I pass, shoot, tackle, run. That's how I play my EA Sports. The minute you start saying send them on a run by pushing another or take a fin out, it's like, that's 2 buttons I've got to press. And my brain just goes, So in squad battles, that's all fine. You've got all the time, not all the time, you've got lots of time. When you're in competitive rivals or champs, for me, you don't get time, right? So I've got to keep the game very simple. So for me, it's pass, shoot, tackle, run. And I don't use lots of the mechanics, so I'm at a small disadvantage. But I accept it.
That was something else I was kind of lined up to ask you, so you kind of come onto that naturally. So obviously, like we've seen in the early parts of the game, that Trivellas are still very overpowered. Finesse shots with the right play styles are overpowered. Whip crossing's very, very good. So we've seen these mechanics brought in. And obviously the R1 dribbling, especially people get to the byline, R1 dribble cut back. So because you're not gunning for every win through every means possible, you've kind of said you keep it simple, you don't overly use the mechanics and stuff. How do you approach that? So either do you look at, what we said in the Discord, what people are chatting to you about, like YouTube? Do you say, right, this is a technique I must try and incorporate then because this is so good? Do you go, I'm playing against this person that's exploiting that, I can't stand that? Like, how do you approach that?
That sometimes annoys me. Like when you see people try the kick-off goal, it's kick-off back to the midfielder who takes a step back, then lobs it over the top to the runner. I'm a bit like, oh, come on, you absolute rat. corner technique. Nathan, thank you. Do you know, when I see people doing that sort of thing, or they can R1 dribble at the byline, I sometimes go, oh, beep, beep, because you're like, oh, you're just a rat. They're not. They're using the mechanics to win the game, and everybody wants to win. Nobody wants to lose, right? But yeah, I give away far too many penalties because they're dribbling quite nicely in the box, and I'm spamming tackle like an old man. Do you know, I'm aware of it. Some of it does really annoy me. 4-3-2-1, not so much this year. Tactics are a bit more mixed this year, but sometimes I'm like, I think, oh yeah, you're just an absolute. You've watched YouTube, you've watched, streamers. You're just doing what everybody else is doing. I play wing play, right? I think I showed you a heat map the other day, right? I cannot play through the middle, right? I just lose the ball, get congested. I literally go down the wing. I don't cross properly. I do go to the line and I cut back, but I don't R1 because again that's another button to hold and press, and it's like no. I literally to winger back to striker across to the 4-4-2 to the other striker puts it in the net. That's pretty much how I work it. Yeah, I play my way. I don't do whip crosses. I've not scored a single corner from a cross this year. I just got my way of playing FIFA: pass, shoot, tackle, run. And I've realised as I've got older, that's the way I play my FIFA. It's, but I've had people around, like, Caden in the Discord comes around on a Monday and they're like, oh, you pass people to death. I don't pass people to death. I just try and hold the ball, pass the ball when I think the time is right to create space, because I don't have a skill move. I don't have a move that I can do to beat a player. So I have to beat a player by passing and moving. So that's how I do it.
No, I think it's quite important that we kind of show this other side to it as well, because I don't exploit the better per se, but I'm aware of it, and there are times that I'll try it, and I know a lot of people are driven by getting these mechanics and perfecting that. So it's quite good to see that sort of other side to it, I think, and it's quite important for people listening to think, right, we're not all doing this thing. There is the variety and links of formations.
But you're right. If you want to learn the game, yeah, there's lots of stuff out there, YouTube, streamers, all that sort of stuff. I've already alluded to yourself, Artyom, John, fantastic coaches, analyse your game, tell you what you're doing wrong, give you some steps, progress. And that's where I've come from. I've had a couple of coaching sessions from John and yourself, right? My passing has got better when I'm focused. Like I said previously, the problem is I tend not to focus because I'm not pushing myself to progress. But that's where people say, oh, you pass a lot. It's like, I don't pass. I do the basics of the game. That side, I don't do the basics of defending because I'm lazy, right? There's no other way to describe it. But I do think for other people out there, you've got to realise that we all can't be elite. We all can't be D1 and D2. We will be around D3. There will be other people. My brother-in-law's a great guy. He'll be a D7 player. Do you know what I mean? These things happen because you have to find your level, but we can all improve. And if you want to improve, there's things you can do. Right now, I just want to jump on and have fun. When I want to win games, but I have to accept the way I play, I will lose games to win games. So.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That's a good way to think about things. So we'll kind of move on from that, but still staying within sort of the gameplay side of things. So the patch landed the back end of last week. I think Dan had said he's never seen a list so long in terms of the notes that they were trying to tweak, amend, change, whatever. Now that it's had a bit of time to settle, how have you found it? Has there been a lot of change, do you think, or how do you see it?
If I'm honest, I don't think I'm seeing that much of it. There must be. And like you said, it feels like with the list of changes, it almost we were playing like a beta rather than a released game. But maybe it's because I had all my rivals wins last Thursday. I've only really been doing objectives, and then obviously we were out Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I've not seen huge amounts, but I've read lots. I've seen people saying defending is better, goalkeepers are better. Once I get in, I'm on holiday this week. Once I get in and play some more games, maybe get a better feel for myself. But at the minute, I'm just seeing small improvements. I'm not seeing anything for me that's like meta changed. What about you?
Yeah. The defending, I think, definitely feels better. I think the R1 dribbling, while it's still effective if you do it right, I don't think it's like a cheat anymore. I think certain plays with it beforehand, you could pretty much not dispossess, especially to get the cutback goal. So I'm finding it a little bit easier. I've not played extensively, but I think that's the big thing. Goalkeepers I haven't noticed because goalkeepers are goalkeepers every game. Sometimes they will be unreal. I had a game against Allison where I battered the guy, and I've got precision shooting turned on. I was green timing, and the guy it was unreal. Like, he did use a bit of goalkeeper movement, which I was one of my weaknesses because I just hit wherever he's moving. I'll be like, take the ball, here you go, pal. But there's also have goalkeepers that literally have pop it on hands and just let the ball in. So I can't say the keepers have made much of a difference. I think one of the corner techniques I've been using doesn't seem to be as effective, but some of that might be because I'm using pretty terrible players, or I was using pretty terrible players, but now that Big Crouchy's going to go in, maybe I'll score a few more corners. It doesn't feel too different, I have to say. The menus is still annoying me, the objectives bit especially.
The red dot, it's almost like you've got to back out, you go back in to see the red dot where you've got to claim objectives. It's literally, you do them and you don't tell you that they're done.
It's frustrating. And I think, to be honest, it might be a personal thing, but I'd like it to be a little bit more obvious where the completed objective is. Sometimes you can scroll through all the menus and even then you miss it. So that's not been changed too much. Web app, the guys were saying as well. So I don't think for the amount of changes, I don't think I've seen an awful lot to say this is mental. I like the fact that they did pick up so many things, though. And, I'm not by any means saying, well done, EA, you've made a game that needed all these changes. But we're very quick to criticise. So I think it's good that they've identified it and they've not been like, the guys are saying communication's been poor from EA, which it has been, especially with lots of the issues. But they've not tried to sneak some of these fixes in. We'll say fixes loosely because I haven't noticed a lot, but that was a comprehensive list, and I think it kind of, we have to say that was okay from them to say we've noticed or we've had feedback that these things need change or that it's not right, it's not working how we want it to. So I'm not against them making a big change like that, especially because the game doesn't feel like you've now gone to FIFA 23 again. Like some people thought we'd have such a big step back. So
yeah, I think you're right. The changes are small and necessary, but hopefully it's not mechanic breaking or game changing. Where you feel like the game that we played 2 weeks ago is a different game that we're playing tomorrow. Do you know? So.
Yeah, absolutely no. So I'm not by any means EA loving right now, but at the same time, I think that we've kind of got to give credit where credit's due. Just before we get on to our Tuesday for those listening, when it's released at 6 o'clock on Tuesday. Is there anything either in the next patch or anything that you've noticed in FC24 so far that you wish was changed, was better, was weakened? Not just talking about gameplay, it could be some of the content we're getting. It could be anything, but what's your wish list, John?
I think content-wise, it's difficult because you've got to watch the power curve, right? So there's two camps, right? You've got there's not really two camps. So people want everything now, and they want an upgrade today. They want another upgrade tomorrow. They want somebody to put the fodder, so on and so forth. And I get that, but if you got to watch that, we're already got we've got a 91 Modric, we've got a 92 Lewandowski, a 92 Haaland, right? We've got a team of the week upgrade in Salah, etc., etc. If we don't watch, everybody will be pushing out those 90s very, very quickly, and then there's very little place to go. Right, and it also becomes that case of like you just get a player and you want to try him, but realistically you're then looking to replace him instantly, and it's that continual push to get the next best thing. So there has to be a small balance. You need to have, you probably call it every release, Nate, there's probably 3 or 4 great players, and the rest is what we all call fodder. You'll take them, they'll go on an SBC, they'll go on an objective, whatever. Right. But we have to get that balance right, and I just think we need to watch that power curve. So I'm not overly upset that we're not getting huge amounts of new players, and the new players that we're getting are maybe not long-term new players, but that I think needs to be manageable for the game. So I'm in the camp of, actually, it's not a bad thing not to get new players every single day, but that's just my way of looking at it. Otherwise, we'll all be running around at the end of the game with, what's the point, because this player's as good as the next player. And I'm not a fan of the end stage of the game. I always prefer the start of the game where one player can make a difference if you pack that one player. But there is that bit, how do you upgrade your team?
Yeah.
If there's no way to put your fodder without buying packs, and we don't want to keep buying packs. So there is that side of it. So where do I put my fodder? Where is that SPC that says, we're talking about how good Declan Rice is, but we're not talking about longevity of Declan Rice. Where's that player I put my players into that I will have and use for a long time? But realistically, there are very few now of those players that you will use for a long time.
Yeah, no, you're spot on with that. To be honest, I think I think for me, they touched on it I think both shows last week we've touched on it, is, these sort of puzzle packs and this sort of menu grind. So I'm one of those few that's not against the pricing of Son, because I think we've seen some comparisons even in our Discord where they say, Son's got X amount of in-game stats, and this player that only costs 30k has these in-game stats. Now, we've had this discussion over the weekend in person. Stats for me they're not meaningless, but they're also not as effective as they were last time. I think direct comparisons now is a thing of the past, in my humble opinion. I think that play styles have such a big impact on things, so that's the way it's going. So Son, for me, you could actually, this player of the month would last you through to team of the season. Team of the year, my bad. It's, sort of January time, if so be it. I know people like to change things up, and there will be the odd player that comes in that position, which is fair, but I think you could actually run him now through till Christmas quite comfortably. So 700.
Yeah, because he has key stats in the right place with good play styles, so it's not somebody you're looking to constantly replace.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. If someone comes out that blows you away, then fair enough. But so I'm not against the player, because if you play from now until Christmas, you could probably, I don't actually know how many games you get, but say you could get 400 games out of him. It's not dreadful. Like, let's be honest, even more. Some people probably get 1,000 games out of him, like, easily, especially if you're a Son or a Spurs fan. So I think that's fine. I just want more of a grind to get packs, not even packs so you can get the best players, because we all want the best players, but I want a way to get the fodder easier. 83s, Nishant's just put into our chat, 83s are discard. Like, how is that the case in, where are we? October, yeah. So that's just wild. Like, 83s and 84s used to be prime trading fodder. So that is all very strange. But you're right. I think we've been conditioned to want more. And we've been lucky and we've been spoiled at the same time. So I am very quick to moan, but I think it's a change of mindset required.
Yeah, I think we all do. It's nature, isn't it? You're sitting there with some duplicates and you think, I've nowhere to put them. Well, actually, you probably do have somewhere to put them. You just don't want to put them in there, right? And then your other thought is, well, I've got no packs, so there is a player I want, Son. How do I get the fodder to do it? And it's like, so because there is no packs to open, because there's no tradable packs, or the packs are spread across the milestones, maybe not quite where you're getting them all in today, but you'll need to get that pack tomorrow or next week. But everybody wants the now. Oh, Son's there now. Why can't I grind enough fodder to do him now? Because there's no league SBCs, or there's not enough packs, or there's not enough objectives, or there's not enough. And I think sometimes it's like, because again, we all want it now. We don't want to do Son next week. We want Son today. And I think sometimes you just need to be, I don't remember FIFA 15 or 14 or 13, right? But you talk about people talking about they had goal cards that were in this team, that person was in their team for the whole cycle, right up to the very, very end, because they were meta or whatever. That's not the case anymore. The horse is bolted. You can't go back, but everybody just demands everything now. I want the upgrade now. I want a fodder dump now. I want new packs now to put my fodder that I don't have into something that I don't want. It just becomes a vicious circle. Just slow down. Just, what do you want? What do you want?
Yeah, no, I totally appreciate that. So, no, that's a good way to go, I think. But moving on, John, is it going to be you, or is it going to be me that has to do the Wimby X Factor audition for this?
That'll be you, of course.
Okay, so we will start with formation in review. There we go. I'll be here all week, so if you want an autograph, come and find us. But just so we chat about any formations you've either used, you've come up against, you're liking, or you want to try.
I am pretty much set into John's from the Foot Coach Ends Discord only 4-4-2. I was playing a variation of 4-4-2 before. I tried a couple of other people's off other YouTubers / content creators, 4-2-2s that play this style, etc., etc. No, I went to John's 4-4-2, and it's just, for me, it's worked really, really well. It's not perfect for everybody, but for me, it's made such a difference. I've been tighter defensively, and that's to do with the width that we know we use for that to stop the through balls. Obviously, the downside is crossing, people get the wing play, but for me, it's worked really well, really solid in midfield. Again, I've changed my midfield around, and I'm using Kimmich as my box-to-box. So it's not about the pace, it's about that pace proving. He just takes the ball and moves the ball when people are trying to close him down. It works really well. Like I said, I played down the wings a lot, so the two wide men really help, or ladies in my case, because I think I've got two ladies on the wing. And then I've got a couple of 5-star, a 5-star and a 4-star up top, which I think is the key thing. You've got to have that. For me, 3-star a weak foot's no use. I can't work on a 3-star weak foot. I don't think about which foot's the right foot. I literally have, the ball comes to me and I have to shoot. So I just need it to be there. But for me, that 4-4-2 is really, really balanced. Scoring more goals than I've ever scored. Not conceding any more than I used to concede. So it's getting me more wins. So for me, it's that 4-4-2. And I've just got different variations. So if I'm losing a game, I go up and I just increase the depth a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It's things like that. I maybe put I don't tweak the striker positions because they are what they are, but I've maybe sometimes put fullbacks onto balanced and another really attacking version, so the depth goes up and the fullbacks go to balance because I'm chasing a game. So, but for me, it's just 4-4-2.
Ideal. No, that's good. I've been a big advocate for that as well. I think I've mentioned it a few times recently. So the one that I want to try is a new one, the 4-2-1-3. I think that's been fantastic so far. Like we say, I'm a wing. I like my wing play as well. But having the two sort of holding midfielders, the one cam, so there's a bit of a gap. But with the right instructions, the cam can kind of come deeper. But he also gets forward a lot. The wingers are great because you can make it wide, but you can also get them to be a bit more narrow and play in and off the striker as well. So that's been a really good discovery. It's a new formation this year. I think that's been tremendous. I think
Nate, you're going to share those tactics in the Discord?
I can share them. They're not actually mine. I have borrowed them off somebody else's with a few tweaks to myself, but I will happily use to them because I like having different formations. I know that, from the coaching head of me, it's, pick formations that are good to you and master them. But I also find the game fascinating when you can try all these different ones. And I think I've been thinking even now that I've packed Crouchy, I might actually try 5 at the back and try and play a fast one. I'm not against a 5 at the back, but try and play like a fast striker and a big striker. And then I'll do Rice here, but Beckham, Rice and De Bruyne in the middle, which might be quite a nice creative trio with the blocker as well. So might give that a go. It might be a disaster. Knowing me, it'll be a disaster. But
not at all. Can I ask a question for it? We see when you go down to 10 men, because I'm aggressive in the tackle, what formation do you go to then?
I usually keep a 4-4-2 then, but just have one striker.
I go to 4-2-3-0. It should be 4-2-3-1, but I drop the striker and just use the 3 cams.
See, I would take the middle cam out. If I was to do that, I would take the middle cam out. So you've still got that bit of a gap, but you need to have somebody up there so you've got a chance of scoring.
Just wondered, just interested what other people, give us a message, drop us a note. What are you doing when you go down to 10 men?
Absolutely, great shout. Finally, our last segment of today, John, it's Player in Review. That mix up a little bit, What has there been a standout player, or contrasting, has there been a horrific player that you've used that's either overpriced, been rubbish, somebody that you're like, I need to keep them in my team for the next 4 weeks, like anyone special?
There's a couple of things I'd call out. John mentioned a couple of weeks ago in the pod about Lewandowski. I brought Lewandowski in. The man can finish. I've just got the gold. The man can finish. Brilliant. But for me, it's Morgan. I know she's been talked about a lot on social media. I just find Alex Morgan, 5-star a week foot, finesse, playstyle plus, just is in the right place at the right time. I think she's got plus 90 composure. I'd have to double check that. I just find she's so clinical for the way I play, especially that winger to striker to other striker. 5-star weak foot. Honestly, 30,000 coins, 32,000 coins, something like that, 89 rated. I don't understand why everybody isn't using her.
Yeah, she's got 91 composure. I mean, her dribbling's excellent. Her pace is the only thing that maybe let her down. But again, this game doesn't seem to be fully, especially as a striker, pace isn't everything. Shooting's crap, so apart from long shots, yeah. Very solid card for 37k.
37 now, yeah. It's obviously cut back up. I'm sure it was down a little bit, but again, that's 37,000's nothing really.
No, it's not at all. It's a very, very, very strong shout.
And I would say my 85 rated Fatty is on the bench.
good because I think I was calling you a bit of a sheep for doing that. After a few months.
Well, listen, the man that plays 5 at the back of that formation, give me that.
Although I haven't actually done that yet. It's just it's a thing in my head.
And what about you, Nathan?
I am going to go with another striker. One that I never went out thinking I was going to go and use, but I packed an untradeable Mario Gomez hero. I can't remember what pack it was from. I think it was just a bog standard boring pack, I think. He is currently 60k on the market. He's an 88 rated striker. His pace is at 83 with a pretty crap split. He's only got 79 acceleration and 86 sprint speed. But shooting is cracked. But again, I am a big advocate for this. He has the power header trait. I think that's so much fun. So launch balls into him. His agility and balance isn't great. But once you're aware of that, you don't use him for dribbling. He's a big target man. You sort of play into him, play off him. He's 6'2". He has got high and average build, so he's not going to be, twist and turn and getting everywhere. But get him in the box. It's a bit, I think, like with Lewandowski. Like you find him, he'll bury the chance. I think he's played 36 games and he's scored 26 goals or something like that, plus his assists. So not bad in before. So for someone I never expected to quite enjoy it, he's been really good fun. So if you're needing a Bundesliga or a German striker and you don't want to break the bank for somebody, he's actually going to be, I find him very, very good.
Brilliant. Yeah, he does look nice. There's no getting away from it, Nate. Like you said, 6'2", 85 jump in, but he's obviously got the height anyway, but the heading accuracy at 91 with a power plus heading. Yeah, really good.
Absolutely. So one that I don't think I've ever used him even. I've definitely not been an advocate for him, but definitely worth a shout. So with that, John, I am worried that you also have plans today. You've stepped in to help us get the pod out, which has been phenomenal. So thank you so much for that.
No, thanks for having me.
Where can people find you?
In the Discord, which is a great place to be, TalkingFUT, and on Twitter, which I'm not as active on anymore, but I'm still there and will pick up any messages at TalkingFUT.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a good shout for the Discord. If patreon.com/FUT&Review. You get a host of benefits. Certain tiers get you access to trading shows, to coaching as well, even to some merchandise as well. So there's a free trial on at the moment. I think it's a 7-day free trial you can sign up for. Come in, say hello, see if you like it. Hopefully you do and you'll stay. I'm in there more than I probably should be. I'm NJ Down, same as on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Just thanks to everyone again that came to the meetup. It was really good seeing everybody. Thanks to everybody for listening in. The chat's going wild in Discord. I think it may possibly be John and Dan on Friday. Ingby, I'm sure, will be there or thereabouts. It'd be quite good to have the gaffer, the two voices of the pod, John and Dan, doing it as well. So that'll be quite interesting. Not sure if there'll be a trading show released this week, but come and find us, ask questions, social media, whatever. That's been, we're always active between us, so keep an eye out for some of the content as well.
And the good thing is you get access to the coaches, you get access to John himself, the owner, group director, whatever you want to call him. It's not a case of you have to be special tiers to speak to these people. Everybody speaks to everybody in our Discord and on social media.
Exactly. So keep an eye on the FUT and Review or the FUT Coaching Twitter, Instagram as well. We're really active on there just now. So have a look, give a like, give a follow, everything else. But with that said, there's just one thing to do, John.
Drop it.
We are going to drop it.
Drop it.
F-U-T. F-U-T. F-F-F-U-T. F-U-T. T. Interview. F-U-T.